we've met each other, what we'll call it 2 times now, but I feel like I don't know, like we're like old friends or something, right? Zach and I just send each other just internet trash. It's incredible.
That's what we're trying to do.
It's just completely, it's not valuable to anybody. It's not even valuable to the internet. And we're just passing it back and forth.
On the mic with Todd Giuliano. Presented by DJ&Lindsey.
All right. Well, thank you guys. You're incredible. Matt, we definitely got to get red lights so I can tell which camera I'm looking at. But either way, welcome back. This is a first time for us. We are here with Zach and Ariel McCarthy. They are our team leads, what we call it, agent mentors down in South Florida. They reign over our Coral Springs and Delray office, but this power couple is absolutely incredible. Unique journey coming into real estate. So we're going to hear about that in a little bit. But I want to say congratulations. Massive closing in December. Massive, we'll call it a promotion in early January of being agent mentors. And then a massive executed contract on the day of filming. So welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Well, how are you guys?
We're good.
Good. Love that.
We're tired. We're good.
Yeah. Well, tired is good. That means you're working. There are a lot of agents that aren't really working as much as the both of you. So we thank you very much. So let's get into it. We talked briefly as we were checking audio and doing all this. Let's start with Zach, your journey into real estate. And then obviously, Ariel, you also had a very unique journey, obviously coming in too. So let's kind of get into that. So kick us off.
Yeah. So I've stayed for 10 to 12 years on and off. Been in leasing and sales for a really long time. I mean, my dad has been a broker and in sales my entire life. So that's where I got my start. He's been a broker in Connecticut, still in sales, still in active sales in Connecticut for about 30. He'll probably correct me on this after he watches this. I'm going to say 37 years. That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Yep. 37 years. So pretty much I have been technically forced into real estate for the same amount of time, except I'm only 35. So it's been going on for a long time.
Right.
But obviously I'm not saying at this point, it's still working and it's in my blood. So that's where we're at today.
I love that. Yeah. I remember you joining, and I remember we asked you to get lock boxes because we're like literally opening up shop down there. And we kind of just, I don't know, we're thrown into a phone conversation and you're just like, yeah, I'm standing outside the building. They have no clue what I'm talking about. I'm like, okay, awesome. So we started off very strangely.
I called DJ for that.
Yeah, exactly.
I called DJ for that and I said, hey, I got some lock boxes. I need some codes to them. He was like, okay, sounds good. I call Tom.
Perfect. I'm like, okay, well, I know nothing of this. So I had to get with Ashley, who was incredible, but you really set it off down there, which obviously makes the most sense. You've been down there since we set up shop down there. Like we had a Jupiter office like right out the gate, and then it was like, that was gone. And then it was just like the Zach McCarthy show. I'm bringing my wife along, and then your wife stole the show. I feel like a lot of people are just like, oh yeah, it's Ariel and Zach McCarthy.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I'll sit in the background any day of the week.
Love that. But anyway, so then Ariel, you were doing real estate, not on the side because our team demands such a high volume of time, but you were managing both your previous job and this job before you fully committed. So kind of walk us through that transition.
Yeah. So I have been in corporate America doing medical device sales for almost a decade. And I was always a little bit jealous of Zach. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit and I've been in sales forever. And I would see the flexibility that Zach had. I would see the highs that he would have when he was working with clients that he really loved and genuinely wanted to help. And I wanted to be part of it. But obviously we needed to make sure we have 2 kids. finances. We had to make sure that we were in a comfortable position for me to be able to walk away from something that I was so comfortable with, having been doing it for 10 years. But like when I looked at my life as a whole, like knowing that I was going to become a mom and now we have 2 kids, I wanted to make sure that I had a career that allowed me and afforded me the financial freedom and the time freedom to be able to really be present in their lives. So after I saw Zach killing it, we decided, we talked.
Ariel knew she could do better. That's what happened.
No, it's not that. It's that we're a good team. We're a good team in marriage. We're a good team in parenting our 2 kids. And I think we're a good team in real estate. There are things that I'm really good at that maybe Zach is not as great at, and vice versa. And, I'm really lucky to have the opportunity to work with him because I learned so much from him. He doesn't give himself enough credit, but he is genuinely extremely talented at what he does. So to be able to learn from him and then bring in my own little spin into things, having been in sales, I think kind of sets us apart as a team.
It still makes me cry.
No, I love that. I mean, a lot of, especially couples, right? It's great to, you never really want, it's like work together, live together. It's like, it's a lot, but given you're already a team at home, business is so similar in that. And you kind of had this opportunity to be able to work kind of together for a little bit and then be like, okay, now I'm full time. Obviously, we totally understand and of that, like, hey, I want to be able to provide, right? We have to have that steady income, but once we've figured it out, we have a good pipeline, good business now. That's very important. And I think a lot of people are hesitant, like, to jump in with both feet because they're like, how am I going to make this work? I have a family or whatever financial obligation. And I think they just get so nervous and then they start to lose trust in themselves. And then that's like this downward spiral, which I'm sure you guys have gone through ups and downs, but from outside looking into you guys, it almost seems like you guys have not missed a beat. Like literally it was Zach and it was just like Zach compounded, you came here. And then it was just like explosion, right? And not in like it was Ariel that propelled you there. It was just like, now that you have both halves of the, but you have both halves of the brain, right? You guys like are working, I think so. Teams, here's what we have in St. Augustine. We have a team of 2 people. We have one person who is one type of person and a woman who's another type of person. The man was smart enough to be like, I'm not going to jive with everybody. And I feel like I'm going to be losing business. But she, if I don't jive with them, but I still know what I'm doing, I want her to be able to be successful. And I think you guys have that already, right? You know how Zach works. Zach, you know how Ariel works. And you guys know how to play off each other. And I think that's incredibly important because the team who wins is the team that makes the least amount of mistakes.
Actually, Paul's not more before we started a team and just asked them if I was making mistakes, and they said no.
Right. Smart though. But I mean, you also have to think about it. You guys have a lot more on the line than just a business, team.
Yeah.
Right. And now, you throw kids, in the way, it gets even weirder.
Her other job, her other position was also from home. So we had start working with each other, working around schedules and everything like that. Now we just add in appointments and dealing with some of the same people while still trying to navigate through a bunch of different deals at the same time. So it's always been kind of a challenge for us, which I tend to get bored easily with a lot of things. I've had about 35 cars and a bunch of other stuff. And
Thankfully only one wife.
There we go. Yeah, I'm on wife 1. One done. So
smart man.
And me and Ariel have had what, 13 places together?
Yeah.
In 12 years. So yeah, we like to change things up, and we like to be challenged.
Good.
But
all right.
I will say that, the fear around going all in on real estate, I mean, it can be debilitating. And it can definitely hold you back. But given the opportunity at DJ&Lindsey, I don't know if I ever would have gone into real estate had it not been for the DJ&Lindsey team.
Right.
Because the business model and the opportunities, the mentoring, the leads, I mean, all of it combined, like I can't think of another brokerage that affords their agents the opportunities that DJ&Lindsey do. So
yeah, and I've been at about 5 of them.
Yeah.
So I've been bouncing around quite a bit. I'm licensed in Mass too, in Florida, but this brokerage has been definitely a game changer for us.
Right. No, I love that. And I think you guys
I
painted the exact picture, of kind of what we try and tell people is like, guys, we have all this stuff that people search high and low for, but it's almost like we can't shout it loud enough from the rooftops.
Yeah, people always will be more likely to leave a negative review over a positive review. And honestly, we've always been the positive person and seeing through all the negatives to the positive because it's much more important. It keeps us going. But at this point in the game with where our brokerage is and we're trying to get it off the ground in South Florida, and really teach the North Florida offices how it's done.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding out there. That's a stretch. that's what we're trying to do.
No, hardly. I mean, you guys are, and you're doing a great job at it. I mean, it's this industry and this business already not easy, right? But to be able to help us get this off the ground and understand, DJ's from Jupiter. So when we decided that this was going to be a thing, it was more personal than it even was business. Obviously it was a great business move as well, but it was still a little bit more personal too. So for you guys to be all in on the success of this place means more than, probably the checks you guys get after closing, because it's such a family-oriented thing. I mean, we've met each other, what we'll call it 2 times now, but I feel like we're like old friends or something, right? It's really hard to make old friends, but I don't know. I just trust you guys. I mean, even last night, I DM'd Ariel. She was talking about reading, and I said, my girlfriend is literally on this crazy reading kick. And then I just realized, as I'm saying this, that I never answered her. I'm the worst. But it's just like you share these things where you don't realize it, and then as we go back and forth, our relationship revolves around business, but like it just keeps leaching outward from that into just our personal lives, because it's just a pleasure to work with people like you guys.
Yeah, maybe to read them, that's cool too, because I order the books and then Ariel reads them. So it actually works out pretty well.
Right, yeah, I'm still learning.
It is kind of crazy, though. It's kind of crazy because 10 or 11, however many years ago, when Zach got his license, I took the course with him because...
And she failed.
No, that's not true. What happened was the only way that Zach was going to actually take the test was if I took the class with him. So I took the class with him. I took all of his notes, color coded them, made sure that he had everything he needed in order to pass that test. And he took the test and I didn't. And in hindsight, I wish that I had, but everything happens the way that it's supposed to. But yeah.
So since it's okay, all right? It's okay to fail.
Right.
The first time, not the second time, but you got to pass the second time.
Right. You get a breakfast ball on the first test. That's it. You get 1. The next one, it's it. I mean, so you say you came from real estate. Did you have a fallback plan, if you had not passed, or it was just like, hey, Ariel, you need to study harder?
Honestly, Ariel's been the breadwinner for our entire relationship, and it's been amazing. But
I love that.
It took me 10 years to get there, but here I am.
Hey, better late than never. I absolutely love that.
No, we've always been a good team.
Yeah.
We've always been a good team. And I think, again, with when the opportunity to work at DJ&Lindsey presented itself, I was also on the interview with Zach. Because it was an important decision. He was at another brokerage and we were relatively new to Florida, and we wanted to make sure that he was making the right move. The right move for him, career-wise, but also financially for our family.
Sure.
And we got off that interview and we were like, what do you have to lose? Like, you might as well give this a shot because what you're doing right now isn't working. So you really have nothing to lose. And I'm so glad that you did give it a shot because, I mean, it's changed our whole lives. Like, I've been able to leave corporate America and we're able to work together. We have, I mean, don't get me wrong, we work really hard, but we have the most flexibility that we've ever had. And as parents, that's kind of priceless.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure of it, right? Being able to, a child is sick or, you need to go pick them up from school, whatever. I mean, you had told me, Ariel, you had told me about you're kind of the only set of parents that actually pick your kids up from school together, which is like massively important, right? Like such a huge added thing to not be able to like butt heads and like, can you get her? I can't, I'm super busy. Like you guys make it a point, like we are both going to get our children from school as could be a highlight. Honestly, I'm not a parent, but like probably the highlight of your day. I mean, granted, when you close $6.9 million homes and you write up 2 million other ones, yeah, that's great too. But I'm sure it's the highlight of your day, to be able to go together and pick up your children. But as we get into that, the first time we talked about some of your larger closings was, I think it was a 1.25 million, and you guys like door knocked in order to like get the deal. Cause I remember we did a post about that. Let's start with that story and then we'll move into the December closing, which was huge.
So we try to get everywhere, touch pretty much everything that we haven't been to before. So as far as new communities, new people, new surroundings, because like Ariel said, we're transplants. I guess that's what you call it, because we moved to Florida about 4 years ago. And we had been coming here for a good 10 years and lived in West Palm Beach a while ago. But networking is everything down here. It's a giant state, and you really have to know your market because it's extremely competitive. And as everyone knows, during COVID, everybody and their mother got their real estate license. So pretty much we went down to a community called East Point, and we went around the community and pretty much pulled up our phones and said, which houses in here were canceled listings, expired, withdrawn, went around, introduced ourselves, talked to a little bit of some of the neighbors, and then pretty much we had left the community, no luck, and I had made a call the next day to somebody that had fired the thing that listed too high, didn't want to do anything about it at the time, but circumstances changed, and they did want to sell the house, but they had signed a contract with another agent, but it wasn't listed yet. So before that contract or before the property hit MLS, we got somebody in there. They wanted to make an offer, and we got it sold for them.
Wow. I mean, that's incredible. You hear people. So it's strange to me that you guys went out and did a little hard work instead of just like staying at home and making like a TikTok and like pointing to like random places. And then somebody just like called and were like, I want to buy $1 million home. It's weird. I don't know. It's a unique story. That's absolutely incredible. Yeah, I mean, I knew of the door knocking, but I didn't know that was the journey to get there. So that's pretty wild, but not that shocking given that I already knew the two of you are workhorses. So that seems like a normal thing to see from the both of you.
A lot of our agents do the same thing in our office. We've got Lindsey just started. She makes amazing pop buys, they're called. So she just did some for Valentine's Day to drop them off at people's houses.
Nice.
And then we've got a couple other agents that go around and pretty much introduce themselves right before their open house or their listing goes active. And just to make sure that they know there's a listing in the area and this is who it's listed by.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's one thing that I did know. Is that you guys do a tremendous job. The team down there does a tremendous job of organic lead gen and of, organic brand awareness. That was one thing that we're working on trying to coach our North Florida offices on. But the market up here, I mean, it's totally different, right? Like the market down there, it's insanely competitive. The price points are sometimes ludicrous, which we'll get into December. Rarely are you guys seeing anything, that's really south of like 200,000? And if it is, it's something that you probably don't want to engage with.
Yes,
So-
it's usually a parking space or a boat slip.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, no, you're totally right. But so it's great that you guys, and again, we knew that you guys are doing that. It's tremendous because, I mean, that's the name of the game. I mean, that's why people do go on TikTok and they're starting to point around because they're trying to push a brand. The problem is your brand gets associated with content creation and not as much business, or it's more humor, which it's not the worst, but it sometimes doesn't keep the lights on. So, yeah, obviously we have lead flow down there. We have partnerships with lead gen companies, but you guys are doing a tremendous job organically, helping and building the brand down there. So from the creative director side, thank you.
You're welcome, John. Thanks for having us today.
Yeah, no doubt. So before we close out, I want to hear about this December closing, 6.9 million. And then the last thing we'll wrap up with is, the agent mentorship. I don't want to jinx the deal today. I wanted to just mention it, but I want to jinx the deal today. But yeah, walk us through this 6.9. This is bananas.
It's all right. I just want to let you know it's 4.55. So I don't want to run it, but plus the other deal. So it was 6.9 for the month. The highest sale we've gotten, it's the highest one so far is 4.55. So that guy is an amazing individual.
I love him.
Ariel loves him more than she does me. She'll literally admit that. So he came from a lead that came to the office, and we had seen a house together. I met him at the house for the first time. We saw the place. Didn't talk to him for a little while. He's traveling all the time. Didn't talk to him for a little while. A few months comes back and he's like, "Hey, I know we had a good tour over there. Wasn't interested in the house, but I'd love to see some other stuff with you. What do you got?" So, we have a lot of systems in place at DJ&Lindsey that send listings automatically, that send people the listings that they're looking for with the right criteria in a system. This guy is not a system person. Had to send him everything manually, listings left and right. Let's try email. Let's try text. He was good at both, but I had to send him everything that matched specifically to his email and to his cell phone. Both. And just to see which one worked back and forth. So, long story short, he flew in once, saw the property, he loved it. The price point was too high. The prices for luxury real estate were dropping at the same time. From there, he was like, "Hey, I love the house, don't love the price." Couple months went by, flew in again. We took a look at that place again, and 3 other houses similar to that, lower price point, couldn't compare it. From then, he said, "Okay, I think, third time's a charm here. I'm going to fly in one more time. If we don't get to an agreement, I'm leaving. I'm going to have to move on from this house. I just can't think about it anymore." And sure enough, we came to an agreement after, was that Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah, I think the big takeaway for me with that transaction was, we talk all the time about people over properties. And I think something that Zach and I are really good at, and something that you need to be really good at in real estate, is cultivating relationships. And Zach had met with this guy before I had even started with DJ&Lindsey. And he was able to nurture this lead for
10 months.
10 months.
That's bananas.
He never got discouraged. I mean, he literally went and saw this place with this guy three plus times.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest thing for me, was that, he was able to nurture this lead, get to know him, build credibility, build trust, and get the deal done. Yeah. And I truly believe that had he not stayed in contact with him, and Zach also stayed in very good contact with that listing agent, built a relationship with that listing agent as well. This is a side note, but we actually went over to
her beach house.
In Rhode Island. We just happened to be in Rhode Island.
This was actually 1 mile down the street from where my parents just built the house. out of
Wow.
just very random situation.
Yeah, it was just a crazy story altogether. The fact that this guy went to go see this house, fell in love with it, and then 8 months had gone by. The property was still on the market, and he still had it in his mind that this was the place for him. And Zach, we were able to get it done. And that was like, it's one of the coolest stories for us.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's incredible. I mean, that's you hit the nail on the head, right? It's people over properties. It's the sheer fact of that. If you bond with somebody and you can provide value, at the very least, you just build great rapport with them. When they go to do something in whatever business, they're going to contact that person that they feel the most comfortable with. So, people always see, and it's even our case too, right? Like they were just like, oh, DJ&Lindsey, came out of the woodwork. It's like, this team's been here since 2013. So all our agents saw was they saw you guys close 4.55 million, and they're like, oh, Zach must have picked up the phone or, showed a couple houses, whatever. Not that they do, but like, that's what other people could insinuate when you literally talk to this man for 10 months, day in and, figuring out, troubleshooting. Okay, this guy does not like system stuff, doesn't like automated stuff. I literally need to text him a property or literally doesn't stop. My phone is just ringing off the hook. Thanks, Lauren. But I think that's the important part of this is that we are not a converting business. We're a conversion business. We are trying to build that database, as much as possible. So when you guys have somebody on the phone and you're like, hey, I need to see this property right now, you guys can turn around and pick up, hey, Lindsey, or hey, somebody in that office, I need somebody to open this door right now because, we just can't get to it. But, I've been talking to this guy for 10 months. He's my, we're really close with this guy. I think that's massively important. And I think you guys just saw it early enough that a lot of people would have been like, oh, this guy's giving me the runaround. He's flying in. He doesn't love this house. He loves this. He doesn't like this. He doesn't answer his phone. He only answers listings from text, like all this stuff. And to stick with it, I think not only is resilience, right? That's who's going to win in this industry is somebody who is resilient, but it just shows that you guys understand the larger message and the larger industry play, which is exactly that. It's people over properties. So, unfortunately, it just closed after the cutoff when we did the awards for during the holiday party. So, Alan, shout out Alan, had a huge closing, but you guys just edged it out, but missed the closing by the time we got them done. So it was awkward for me because I was like, oh shit, did I totally just miss this?
Alan gave us a piece of this trophy.
I love that. He gave you the base, so he took the diamond part, and then you guys just have the base.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Alan. Last bit of content. I know we have to wrap up. You guys were a hard out on 12, but this agent mentor. I mean, not long overdue, but long overdue. I mean, the both of you were doing this as soon as you guys were in that office, right? Just helping people. Hey, this is the way things are done here. Oh, I used to see it in the group all the time. Ariel helping out, or Zach just being like, yeah, I'll get Ariel to help out. You guys were doing it, and now,
for DJ.
Yeah. It was my pleasure.
Yeah.
She's the content creator. I think that's why you guys connect also, is because she has a lot of background in content. She's very good with social media, and she's built up her presence pretty well. And all I do is send videos, and I need to get better with that.
Yeah, that's
what I send you videos all the time.
Yeah, that's what I was telling her. I'm like, Zach and I just send each other just internet trash. It's incredible. It's just completely. It's not valuable to anybody. It's not even valuable to the internet, and we're just passing it back and forth like animals. But yep. Yeah, but no, it's incredible. We were super stoked about it. We actually had to keep our mouths shut for a little bit. We were told about it probably only 2 weeks or so before they had formally rolled it out to you guys. But I immediately wanted to hop on the horn and send some internet trash meme to you about leadership. But I couldn't because you guys didn't know about it yet.
Yeah,
but
it's a great opportunity. We really appreciate it. And me and Ariel are super excited to bring the the office to a whole other level.
Yeah, we've always wanted the South Florida office to be as successful as possible. So to be able to have a hand in that, I mean, it's an honor to get to work with our agents and help the agents down here. And I mean, it's kind of what real estate is all about, right? Like helping people and being problem solvers, and everybody else's success is our success too. So it's almost more exciting to see them thrive and them succeed than sometimes like when we get our own contracts executed.
Yeah, it probably gives you that like just warm feeling of like, wow, I helped somebody. The same thing, right? When you help somebody buy or sell a house, you just get that feeling of I just helped somebody, right? So now you guys were doing it anyway. Now we're just being able to formally recognize that and readily, willingly send people in your direction versus like, hey, can you guys help out down there because we just don't have the bandwidth. So we do very much appreciate your help down there, and we love you guys. I saw you guys, final thing, I saw you guys traveled, I think it was to Mexico for a wedding. It looked incredible. Any trips or anything planned this coming year already or no?
We just got invited to a wedding in California. I got a save the date card, but after last year, we had a wedding in Italy and a wedding in Cancun. What was it? Cancun? Yeah, Cancun. So that was enough traveling. I feel like for probably 5 to 10 years, that was enough for me. So yeah, I think we're going to focus on selling stuff instead.
I love that. Worst case scenario, you guys can, weekend trip up to St. Augustine or weekend trip out to the Bahamas would be a nice getaway. Yeah. Awesome.
That's definitely in the cards. Anything without an airplane is fine.
Bahamas, you could do a boat. Well, guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys. Again, obviously can't express our love for you guys anymore. And thank you guys, obviously, for being patient with us here as we figure out this virtual world podcast scenario. So thank you very much.
Yeah, we were really glad to be the first people in here. It's great.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's this was a test run, and then we're gonna do a robust write up. I got this whole thing, so I'll probably give you guys a call early next week, and if I have any more questions about this storyline that I'm building. So anyway, thank you guys. Real quick, you guys, I mean, you know this because you've watched the podcast before. This podcast is sponsored by Audible. Audible is a great way for you to listen to books instead of read them because you're in the car on your way to showings or you're constantly dealing with customers. You can get our referral link in the link in the bio or go to tryaudible.com/DJ&Lindsey. Thank you both, Zach and Ariel, the McCarthys. We love you guys. See ya. See you guys.